Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, with my good friend and my good pal, Mr. Al Connickson. And in the last segment, we talked about the options market, how to substitute options in place of stocks. Yes, stocks are a great asset. They are great for building wealth as far as a strategy and asset, but stocks are expensive. Stocks are near all-time highs, a lot of them, not every single one, because we talked about some that weren't in the last few segments. But there are strategies and assets to use stocks as a replacement and be more efficient with your capital. We talk a lot about the futures market, the Forex market as well, but options is that one asset that allows you to be more efficient with the capital that you have, but also minimizing your risk. You always have to do that on every trade or investment, but having a higher rate of return based off the dollars that you're using. So it's just much more efficient with your capital. We have investing classes to introduce you to more of these strategies and be able to show you how that actually works. Us as adults, as I mentioned in the last segment, that's how we learn, is actually by physically seeing it and then doing it. And that's what we get you started in these investing classes. By the way, they're free right here at the Academy. They're 2 hours long, and we introduce you to options, how it works, how to utilize more opportunity with the capital that you have, and being able to really diversify your portfolio by using multiple assets. Simply to come into one of these investing classes, just text the word investing, and that's to the number 210. That's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. And then when you do that, you're going to get a text right back with a link to our landing page. That will drive you right into our dates, our times, and you can pick your best date that works for you. Just text investing to the number 210. We also love our subscribers on the podcast. That's Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to your podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. I was actually having a conversation with one of our options experts here this past week, and we were just talking about how options is one of the fastest growing assets that are out there because of the perks, the benefits that you get to be able to use the stock market, because everybody understands, well, probably doesn't understand, but has heard about the stock market. They know what it is, they know what it's for, but don't necessarily know how to use it. But then they want to be more efficient with their capital, and I think a lot of that information and that quote-unquote knowledge is getting out there. Well, the issue with that is people are trying to use knowledge as a replacement for skill. And you can't learn a skill just based off of knowledge. You have to actually do it, just like sports, just like anything that we do in our everyday life. I was actually at a game for Miami. I don't even know their name, the soccer team where Messi plays. And I'll tell you what, they practice every single day because they are phenomenal soccer players. They don't just go out there and read a book on how to play soccer. They practice, and then they play their games, and they practice more, and they're training outside of practice. And that's the same thing about trading and investing. It's a skill that you got to build, but you have to have the right vehicle to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Now, we talked a lot about options on that last segment, and we still have a lot of people that are looking to be able to grow a portfolio, because a lot of people are short on retirement. And they want to be able to have that opportunity to have more, but it might take a strategy doing that now rather than at retirement time. Because we see a lot of people that come to the Academy that are probably in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're thinking about, hey, I want to retire one day, but I just don't feel like I have enough. What are some of the strategies with the futures market, the Forex market, that you're seeing a lot of people want to know more about and be able to understand and actually do to have more of an opportunity to have enough during that retirement time?
Yeah, I think a lot of people now are finally realizing and admitting that the go-to that has been the go-to for retirement that has kind of been pushed on us, it just isn't working. And that's basically the 401k, the 403bs. Mm-hmm. Pension. We've gone away from pensions to a strategy now where the responsibility really is placed upon the employee, take it away from the employer, but people don't know how to properly use it, and it's resulting in a retirement crisis. You know, if you're not in retirement, if you're fortunate enough to not be in retirement yet, and you've got some years to go, you have plenty of opportunities to be able to put yourself in a position when you do go into retirement where you can live the lifestyle that you want to live. You know, we're looking at creating freedom, creating that the ability to do things you want to do when you want to do them and not have to worry about the money part. But the earlier you can start, the better. For a lot of people, they're in a position where they need to do what they would call catching up. Well, I'm far behind. I didn't do what I should have done. The reality is setting in. What do I do? Well, there are ways that you can approach that situation without taking on a lot of risk, which is what most people end up doing when they kind of get backed into a corner, so to speak, and they get desperate and they start to make bad decisions. There are assets, and we just started talking about them, options, futures, forex, where you can take a small amount of money and then control something that's much larger than that amount of money. And it gives you the opportunity to have returns that maybe can get you to the point where you catch up quicker with a smaller amount of money as far as the kind of the upfront amount that you're investing. Options, we talked about options. Options can be used as a stock replacement. When we talk about doing options on a stock, for example, we talked about Nike and NVIDIA, you don't have to own the stock. The option is a separate entity that you can invest in. You can either buy calls if you think something's going to go up in value, buy puts if you think something's going to go down in value, and that makes it sound very simple, but it is a little more, there's more depth to it than that, and that's what we do. When Josh mentioned skills, you have to have the knowledge. There's no question that you need knowledge, but that knowledge is of very little value to you unless you have the skills to use the knowledge. When do you use it? How do you use it? Skill building is something that takes time. Nobody is born with a skill to be almost anything. It's something you have to work on and you develop. That's what we do. We help you to do that. But if you're in retirement now, let's say that you don't have those years to wait until you retire. You're in retirement or you want to retire tomorrow. How do you do that and stay comfortable? Well, I think the components of what you need to have are this. You have to learn how to efficiently generate income for your portfolios, hedge your positions that you have now, in other words, protect those positions, and then capitalize on market volatility. Those are all components of what we would help our students who are going into retirement learn how to do. You don't have to just rely on Social Security. You don't have to rely on a portfolio that you have been told is going to be kind of the panacea that is just not getting you there.
Well, here's the problem. Can people rely on Social Security? They can't.
Well,
you can't live off of it.
It may be around in some form, but right now, unless something drastic is done to change it, by the year 2030, 35, only 75% of the benefits will be payable.
But also think about that. That could just be a supplement, right?
Well, that's what you should look at it as, a supplement.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
you can't live off it.
Unfortunately, a lot of people do. That's what they end up with. The old three-legged stool for retirement, which was pensions, Social Security, and then savings. Mm-hmm. Well, pensions are gone. Now it's a two-legged stool. Social Security is questionable as to how much it will provide. The only one that you have control over is your savings, your investments. And if you don't know how to properly manage those and get the full benefits from them, then maybe you do have to rely on Social Security, or maybe you move in with your kids.
Yeah, and that could be an opportunity for our listeners to think about more avenues, because we talk a lot about this when we teach these investing classes that I'll be giving away seats to, and I have been, I'll show here today. It takes multiple sources of income to actually build wealth, because if, say you have one job right now, and hopefully you're saving some, and that's how you build wealth, is by saving. But if you're not able to save enough because your job doesn't pay enough, it might be an opportunity to look at the market, to have another income strategy. So now you have two things feeding that wealth bucket. Now, wouldn't that be nice for some people? That's what a lot of people are looking for, is another opportunity to build that wealth bucket if they feel like they're a little bit short. Now, the strategies and assets that we're talking about with these different markets, it's an opportunity, right? But you have to take advantage of that. You can't just go out there and just hope it works out. You have to learn the skill. And that's why we introduce everything, all these investing classes that we're doing here across the metro. We're introducing that to people so they can get started. If you've never done this before, it's not a bad thing. I was actually having a conversation with somebody I just had met this past week, real nice guy and radio listener, and just talking a little bit about kind of the show and what the Academy does and how we help people with different income strategies or retirement strategies. And I asked him, well, what are your thoughts on it? And he's like, yeah, you guys talk a lot of great stuff, but it's over my head. Well, it was an opportunity for me to kind of reflect and say, do we need to bring it down a little bit? But I think it's good to give the information that's actually happening. But that is the whole reason for these investing classes out. If it is over your head, being able to learn it in a physical setting, I believe is the best way to do that. And that's why we have these introductory investing classes. So you can get started if you feel like it's over your head. It's designed to make you feel that way. So one last giveaway for the investing class. Simply text the word investing to the number 210-210 to get started with these financial markets for a free investing class right here in the metro area. Allie did a lot of different topics: options, futures, forex, income strategies. Let's hear today's OTA tip of the week.
Well, if you have financial problems, issues, or worries, they're not going to go away on their own. They're not going to get better on their own. Now is not a time to hide and hope things get better. Waiting for the perfect time just simply assures you of the fact that you're not going to change things. There's always an opportunity, but to take advantage of those opportunities, it means doing something different. You can't achieve a higher level of anything behaving as a person that got you to where you are right now. Try new things. It's hard to make changes when you stay within the limits of what you already know. You've got two options when you wake up, by the way. You can either go back to sleep and dream, or you can get up and chase your dreams.
I like that. I would choose chase your dreams. But do that today. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats. Follow the podcast, Investing and Trading Live. As always, until next time, retire young, my friends.